So let me get this straight. Trump is literally disappearing legal residents, not undocumented immigrants, legal residents, tossing them into foreign prisons. And we are sitting here debating whether Democrats should even bring it up? Axios reported the second House Democrat, who spoke anonymously, a centrist, called the deportation issue a soup du jour, arguing Trump is setting a trap for the Democrats, and like usual, we're falling for it. Rather than talking about the tariff policy and the economy, the thing where his numbers are tanking, we're going to go take the bait for one hairdresser, they said, likely referring to Andrew Hernandez Romero. Only if Trump tries to deport U.S. citizens, the lawmaker argued, will Democrats need to draw a line in the sand and shut down the House. And here's the thing. We are talking about tariffs. Trump's economic policy is a train wreck. His tariffs are gutting farmers, breaking supply chains, destroying K accounts, and triggering inflation. Have a look at a poll from Atlas Intel. Over 51% of Americans are against Trump's tariffs. Seriously, what are we doing? Are we really going to stand on the sidelines because someone thinks it's what? Bad strategy? That somehow talking about this makes us fall for some imaginary trap. Some Democrats tout that discussing the illegal deportation train is taking the bait. Here's the problem. When you call this taking the bait, you're basically saying that standing up for what's right is a mistake. You're implying that justice is just optional when it's inconvenient. And that, frankly, is the real failure. This kind of political calculus that just writes people off. Meanwhile, a Maryland father is sitting in a maximum security prison in El Salvador. No trial, no charges, just vanished. If you think this isn't your fight, I promise you it will be. Let me lay this out clearly. This isn't about a criminal breaking law or someone sneaking across borders. This is about 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐞𝐿 Garcia, a name you should remember. Garcia is a legal U.S. resident, not undocumented, not a visitor. He's lived here with the full rights that come with holding that status. He does not have a criminal record. Zero. And yet he was detained, deported, sent back across a border he had every legal right to remain on this side of. His crime? If you can even call it that, a Chicago Bulls hat. Yes, you heard me, a Bulls hat. Apparently, someone decided that wearing it flagged him for gang affiliation. That's how fragile the line is. Imagine a union worker, a father, 3 children at home, all with disabilities, now left without their dad because bureaucracy decided his hat was, I don't know, suspicious. And let's not forget, there was no trial, none, no chance for him to defend himself, to even clarify. They just decided, and that was it. Detained, deported, gone. And if standing up for human rights doesn't feel like enough of a reason, then let me hit you with something else, polling data numbers, the stuff politicians love to throw around, right? Turns out this isn't a winning issue for Trump, not even close. The numbers on how Americans feel about these detainments, they're, well, overwhelmingly against it. When voters hear about legal residents being detained or deported, even his base starts to question it. It's not exactly a headline you'll see from conservative outlets, but the numbers don't lie here. A new YouGov survey polled Americans on whether they supported or opposed the Supreme Court's decision to uphold a federal court order requiring the government to facilitate the return of a man wrongly deported to El Salvador. 64% of Americans supported the Supreme Court's decision to bring 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐞𝐿 Garcia home. And here's the kicker. Ignoring this, politically, it's not just moral failure. It's a strategic disaster. How do you convince Americans to trust you if you can't even stand up for, I don't know, basic human decency? Will silence win voters over? The polling says no, or more accurately, absolutely not. Here's the real danger we face right now. If we just sit quietly when one legal resident, just one, is detained under shady, illegal pretenses, we're setting a precedent. We're saying it's okay. We're opening the door for this to happen again, to more people, to anyone. Do we honestly think it stops here? Because let's be real. This isn't one isolated incident. It's a template. Test the waters. See how much silence they can get away with. And if there's no pushback, no outcry, the message is loud and clear. Go ahead, keep pushing the boundaries. No one's going to stop you. That's how these things escalate. Anyone who studied history, even a little, can see the patterns here. Injustice creeps in slowly at first, just a trickle. And before you know it, it's a flood, sweeping up everyone in its path. It starts with Garcia. But if we let this slide, who's next? And then the time comes when you or someone you love gets caught in the system, and there's no one left to speak out because we all stayed quiet when it mattered most. Already, U.S. citizens are being detained. This isn't a slippery slope. We're already sliding. If one law firm gives in, he'll go after 10. If one university backs down, he'll target more. If one legal resident is ignored, he'll target American citizens next. This isn't theoretical. This is the Trump playbook. He's broadcasting it in real time. We either push back now or we lose the ability to push back at all. And for what? To avoid causing a stir? To avoid making waves? Sorry, no. That's not a good enough reason to stand by while this kind of blatant power grab unfolds. Silence at this point is permission. All right, so let's talk about Senator Chris Van Hollen for a minute. He doesn't just sit behind a desk or issue a statement. They're not just empty words thrown into the ether. He went directly to El Salvador to see for himself what this administration's policies are really doing. And what did he find? Well, honestly, it's as heartbreaking as it is infuriating. Van Hollen met with 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐿, a legal U.S. resident. Remember that. When they detained him, he had no criminal charges to his name, none. But by the time the senator caught up with 𝐾, this administration had already deemed him deportable. And let me tell you, the conditions he discovered Garcia living in weren't just appalling. They were intentionally cruel. Garcia isn't sitting comfortably in some holding cell with basic human necessities within reach. He's, wasting away in a foreign prison cell. I mean, come on, stripped of his dignity, treated as if his very existence is a problem to be erased. The senator didn't mince words either. He called it out for what it is, a blatant choice by this administration to punish, to intimidate, to silence. This isn't bureaucratic chaos. It's not some unavoidable system failure. These are deliberate actions, ones that start at the top. To try to distance Trump from any of this, to act like his hands are tied or he's just a spectator. Spare me. The policies driving this kind of treatment were crafted under his watch, signed, delivered, and weaponized. And the message is loud and clear. It's not just about 𝐟𝐵𝐿 Garcia. They want people to feel scared, to feel powerless, to think they're completely and utterly alone if the state decides to come for them next. So let's stop pretending this is about immigration strategy or political optics. None of this is accidental. None of this is just bad policy or some unintentional outcome of a flawed system. This is orchestrated. It's targeted. And it's happening because they think no one's watching, no one's going to push back, no one's going to care. But we do care. 𝐟𝐵𝐿 Garcia isn't just some name in a headline. His story is a wake-up call, a reminder of how fragile justice can be when it's left undefended. And for every Garcia out there, there's another person, another family, standing on the edge, wondering if they're next in line for the machinery of indifference to swallow them whole. This isn't about political sides or strategy. It's about basic human rights. And if we choose to stay silent, then we're complicit. Plain and simple. All right, friends, that wraps up today's episode of The Real 411. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen and for, sticking with me through some really tough but important topics. Your support truly means the world to me. If you found today's discussion impactful, if it made you think or, share that same fire for justice I feel, then let me ask you to do me a favor. Go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. What resonated, what didn't, or even what topics you think we're not talking enough about. Follow us on social media. And hey, suggest this show to someone who could use some real talk in their life. And don't forget to sign up for our email newsletter. It's the easiest way to stay updated on new episodes, exclusive content, and, well, all things the real 411. Plus, let's face it, it's hard enough to cut through the digital noise. And if you truly believe in independent media that's not afraid to dig deeper, ask uncomfortable questions, and, hold power to account, please consider supporting the show by subscribing on Substack, Fanbase, or wherever you prefer. Your support, whether it's sharing this episode or subscribing to a paid tier, makes it possible for us to keep doing this work, to keep uncovering the stories that matter. Because remember, the story is never just the headline. It's deeper, messier, and more real than what most people realize. And that's exactly why we're here, doing what we do. So until next time, stay informed, stay bold, and, well, stay real. I'll catch you on the next one.